Okay, here we go. Let's look at some of these practice problems. I think I'm going to do some of the odd problems and I'll leave you guys the evens. All right, so just keep in mind we are going to be doing the inverse operation in reverse GEMDAS order, right? Remember groupings, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. We're going to be going in the reverse order here, okay? So for these one-step equations, it should be pretty easy. We're just going to do the inverse operation of whatever is being done to the variable. So we have r plus 19. So we're going to do the opposite of addition and subtract 19. If I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other side. On the left side, I have 19 minus 19. That's 0. So I'm just going to drop down this r, drop down the equal sign, and 23 minus 19 is 4. Okay, number 3, we have k minus 15, so we're going to do the opposite and add 15. If I do it to one side, got to do it to the other side. So I'm left with k is equal to negative 13 plus 15. That is going to be 2. Make sure you're using your calculators, or at least checking your answer with your calculator. And speaking of checking your answer, I should go ahead and do that too, huh? Keep in mind with equations, you can always check your answer, right? Once we figure out r or k or whatever the variable is, we can plug it back in and make sure we get the right answer. So for number 1, we said that r was 4. 4 plus 19, does that equal 23? That's what we started with, so we're good to go. It checks out. How about k? We got 2 minus 15. Does that equal negative 13? It sure does, so it checks out. We got the right answer. Okay, so there's really no reason we should miss these because we can always go back and check our answers. All right, number 5, we have m divided by 2 is equal to negative 19. So I'm going to rewrite this over here. M over 2 is equal to negative 19. So I want to do the inverse operation of division and multiply by 2. Okay, so that's going to cancel out on the left side, and I'm just going to be left with 1m. And if I do it to one side, you got to do it to the other side. So I'm going to multiply negative 19 by 2, and that's going to equal negative 38. All right. Oh, looks like we're getting into some harder problems here. Okay, so for number 7, we got a fraction. So I'm going to rewrite this. Over here, we got 9 over 35 times x is equal to 27 over 70. Okay, so remember we need to do the inverse operation of whatever's being done to x, right? Whatever's being done to the variable. So this right here is 9/35 times x. So what we want to do is divide, okay? But if we remember, dividing by a fraction is really just multiplying the reciprocal. And the reciprocal just means we flip around the numerator and denominator. And now these are just going to cross cancel on us. And I'm going to be left with 1x. And if I do it to one side, got to do it to the other. So I got to multiply this side by 35 over 9. And of course you can go ahead and type this into your calculator, but we can actually do some cross canceling here. We got 9 and 27. I can actually take a 9 out of here, and I'm dividing by 9 both ways here. 9 divided by 9 is 1. 27 divided by 9 is 3. And same thing here. I can cross this out. 35 is exactly half of 70, so I can cancel this out and get 3 over 2. But of course, you can just go ahead and type that into your calculator as well. Okay, moving on. Number 9, we have negative 2 times a. So just keep in mind, we always have to divide by the exact same coefficient. So if this is a negative 2, we need to make sure that we are dividing by negative 2, not just 2. It's a very common mistake that I see made by students. All right, so negative 2 divided by negative 2 is going to equal positive 1a, and on this side negative 2 over negative 2 equals 1. So there we go, a equals 1. All right, now it looks like we're getting into some two-step equations. So now we need to do the inverse operations in reverse Gemdas order. So we need to go ahead. So what we have here is subtraction and multiplication, right? This would be negative 3 times x, this part here, and then minus 1. So we're going to do the inverse operations, and we're going to add 1. Okay, we add 1 over here. Got to do it on the other side as well. So I'm left with negative 3x is equal to negative 16 plus 1. If you owed somebody $16 and you paid them back 1, you're still in debt 15. So we'll write that as a negative. And now we just divide by negative 3 on both sides, and we're left with positive 1x is equal to negative divided by a negative. This is going to be positive 5. Okay, moving on. Ooh, maybe I'll skip 15. I think I want to show you guys 12. This is really a negative 1k. All right, so I'm going to first get rid of this negative 1. So I'm going to add 1 on both sides. And I'm left with negative k is equal to 5 plus 1 is 6. So this is negative k is really like negative 1k. Okay, so if I want to get this to a positive k, I want to divide by negative 1. If I do it to one side, I got to do it to the other. So I'm going to be left with k is equal to negative 6. All right, I will leave you guys number 13 then. 15 looks pretty similar. Ooh, let's show one like this. Number 17. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is get rid of this 8 in the denominator. Okay, so I have a plus 5 over 8 is equal to 0. So anytime I have something in the denominator that I want out of there, I just multiply by that number, and it's going to cancel it out. Okay, and if I multiply by 8 on one side, I have to do it to the other side. So I have a plus 5 is equal to 0 times 8. 0 times 8 is 0. So I have a plus 5 is equal to 0. Subtract 5 on both sides. And I'm left with a is equal to negative 5. All right, let's just do one more here. Looks like we need to combine like terms here first. So identify the like terms. I have the n's that I can combine. I have 6 negative n's here and one more negative n there, so I have a total of 7 negative n's. And now I need to kind of update the problem. Drop down this negative 6, drop down the equal sign and the 15, and now I can go ahead and solve. So I'm going to add 6 to the inverse operation of subtraction, and I'm left with, oops, add it, sorry, you gotta add it on both sides. I knew that didn't look right. 15 plus 6 is 21. Drop down the negative 7n, and just go ahead and divide by negative 7, divide by negative 7, and you're left with positive 1n is equal to negative 3. All right, hopefully this video was helpful. If you need any help with any of the other practice problems, just come see me on a Google Meet. All right, good luck.